it's going up forever, Laura.
Yo! Hello, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Simply Bitcoin Live. Say something, Anders.
Something. Buy Bitcoin, hold it.
There we go.
For 50 years.
This is very personal. I like
It
this.
is, yeah.
They're about to
I
kiss.
like, yeah.
They're about to kiss.
We're getting close here. Good to see you, Nick.
Good to see you,
Nico,
too.
and the whole crew.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Sure. All right, everybody. Welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live. This is your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. We call it breaking news, culture, dramatic warfare. We will be your guide through the separation of money and state. This is a special edition. We are currently live streaming from the backstage of the Bitblockboom conference 2023. So it's pretty cool. We do have to speak in
Yeah, we're gonna have to whisper into your ears, guys. So forgive us.
In golf voices, but it's okay. We still have a hell of a show, and we have the Simply crew here. We have Rustin, who is the master behind the Simply originals that he does with Dell, and we have Weinicus, who is also a member of Simply Bitcoin. I just doxed him. You're gonna have to own it at this point, Wine.
Shit.
He's the master of chaos behind the scenes, and of course my legendary co-host Optimus Fields.
What's up, guys? I am like 4 or 5 coffees deep, but I will not yell in your ears today because I have to keep it down. But we got a great show for you guys today, so let's just get into this.
I'm gonna rip off the Band-Aid because I do feel bad for Wine. Wine, why don't you talk about the merch that's currently on the table?
So soft, so comfy, possibly made by Bitcoiners, for you. We only made 21 of everything, so be one of the 21. Simplybitcoin.com. You buy a shirt, you rep the brand, you help Opti stay off the streets.
And I made it super easy for you guys. All you guys got to do is scan the QR code, and it will take you directly to the
Nico, before, sorry, don't mean to cut you off, but yesterday there was some issues with our store. We have that fixed, so if you tried to get one yesterday, go back today. We have fixed the problems.
All right, guys. So let's jump into some of the news for today because we do have a lot to cover. So first, I'm gonna play this. This is by the legendary Lawrence Lepard, and I saw this video and I got very upset. So it was President Zelensky of the Ukraine shaking hands with the Uniparty, right? Elizabeth Warren, the anti-Bitcoin senator, and then Senator Lindsey Graham, who's a Republican. So it's a whole bipartisan thing. Let's send $28 billion to Ukraine. Let's use that fiat money printer. And then, there's that fire in Maui. Let's just send them $6 million, but to Ukraine, let's just send them billions and billions and billions. And when I saw this, it made me so upset. And I tweeted it. It clearly resonated with people. It blew up a little bit. And I said, separate money from state. And it's literally a video of Zelensky shaking hands with, these senators.
Good old Liz.
Very nice to see you. Like, the guy gives him a pat on the back as if they're like longtime friends.
He's the biggest guy on their payroll, isn't he?
Did they say fourth turning or fourth trip? Sorry.
Yeah. So this is I heard that. Did you hear that?
Right?
Maybe
it's fourth turning or fourth trip. I think fourth trip.
Maybe it was a bit of a Freudian slip. Anyways, but Lawrence said it best, right? And to quote him directly, we're all getting so fucking rich, isn't it great? And it's absolutely true. Like, that $28 billion to Ukraine, where is that going? Like, do you think it's a coincidence that Elizabeth Warren off a government salary is worth tens of millions of dollars? Yeah, this is why you have to separate money from state. It's literally theft. That's my take. So I want to go around the horn. Rustin, going to start with you because I know you feel very passionately about this subject.
Oh yeah, you know I love Liz, but no, this is just an example of the Cantillon effect, the military-industrial complex, and then we also have just the sheer display of I heard this broken down yesterday. So the quantity they sent to Ukraine, if that were to be, applied to Maui, they instead of getting their $600 stimulus or whatever, that comes out to what, like 400,000 a person. So it lets you know how badly the incentives are misaligned all across the board, and Bitcoin is here to hold these people accountable, and it's the equal application of justice and rules to everyone, with no one able to rig this system, that makes it so powerful and such a counter to this authoritarian growth that we see. And the neocon military industrial complex, they push it like no other. And that's why I liked how you said the uniparty. There's kind of this illusion of choice in a way, because both at the end of the day spend, tax, start wars, and take away civil liberties.
100%. Wine, I know you love talking about these particular subjects.
Elizabeth Warren and Zelensky are heroes. Oh my God, they're brave. They're such brave people.
Wine once again wants to talk about our merch. Wine?
Buy the merch, or you're not a real supporter of the show. But yes, these guys, this is good for Bitcoin. They're printing money, so number go up for Bitcoin too, I guess. And the wars are only decided by the politicians, not the people. So,
Amen. See, Wine's a lot.
He's a lot smarter.
He's a
than he
lot
pretends.
smarter. He's just. It's always.
I can get Think Boy if you guys want me to.
Okay. Wine's deep. Anyways, Opti, what's your take on this, brother?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the last one to say it, but everyone's been saying it already. This is a prime example of the Cantillon effect. Those closest to the money printer get richer. And, without getting political about it all, it's really a slap in the face to all Americans out there. And I know there's like an emotional charge behind this, and people are emotionally invested in this. But if you separate the emotion from this, if you separate the politics from this, what's fundamentally happening is everyone is getting poorer. And we constantly cover this. This is why your money is not going as far as it used to. This is why your purchasing power is going down, is because they are printing obscene amount of money, and they're not even using that money to better Americans' life. It's going to a foreign country. And again, put your politics aside. The fundamental technique, the mechanism that's going on right now is we are all getting poorer as a result of this, and it's all being cloaked in an emotional guard. And this is why they continue to maintain the military-industrial complex, is because they are able to spin the narrative in a way where you give to them your consent for printing more and more money. And until we separate the money from state, this will continue to happen in our country. Rather, all peoples on the globe will get poorer and poorer and poorer, because the world is still on a dollar standard. And if they keep expanding the money supply, we're all going to get poorer, guys. It's very simple economics.
Absolutely. And then I was just thinking about what Opti was saying right there. I came to Austin about 8 to 10 years ago, and I do not remember seeing the homeless. And early this morning and last night, I saw, individuals sleeping on the ground, shoes off, and it's just a display of this continued degradation fiat has on society and the damaging effects it's having on people. I'm gonna share kind of some sad stats. In the Depression, by the year 1932, the suicide rates had climbed, and recent suicide rates have jumped about 10% year over year. So that is another sign of when they're gaslighting you and telling you the economy's strong. We know we know much better, and we can see these things, and that is why we have to fix the money, because if it's not done, we know where this leads. And Guy Swan was hitting on some kind of technocratic dystopias and kind of where these things can head. So, but that is why we're here, and that is why this conference is here. It's to show people a better way, to show them there is hope, and that they can write their own comeback story with Bitcoin.
100%. And I see a lot of people in the chat making fun of us because of the golf voices. Well, that is literally because we are.
Get a yow.
We are literally
We're live right now.
We are literally backstage while there is a talk happening on the big stage. So we do have to be a little bit quiet, out of respect for the speakers that have made the journey to Bitblockboom. But anyways, I do want to give a very special shout out to one of the Bitcoin companies, one of our sponsors that makes this show possible, stamp seed. Don't put yourself in a situation where you have to explain to your grandchildren why you lost your generational wealth because you decided to store your seed on paper. Don't be that poor person. Store your seed on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. They literally give you a hammer. You just put it in that titanium plate. They have special edition titanium plates. They're super, super badass. You guys definitely want to check out the Stamp Seed guys. I made it super easy for you guys. Just scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you directly to the Stamp Seed website, and you can use the promo code SIMPLY to get 15% off anything on stampseed.com.
Dude,
Anyways,
those hammers are badass.
they are,
Some,
dude.
like,
I
Thor
feel like
shit
Thor.
right there, yeah.
I'm like Thoring. I'm Thoring my generational wealth into titanium.
Bitcoin Thor.
Bitcoin Thor, straight up. All right, everybody.
It's
All right, everybody. Let's move on to the next piece of news, which actually Rustin was the one that brought it up to me. So I'm gonna kind of pass it on to him, but I do want to read the headline article, which is the IRS spares crypto miners and validators and new broker reporting requirements. It's very interesting because remember the bill that Elizabeth Warren is trying to pass through Congress, where she's basically trying to force, through legislation that Bitcoin miners and Bitcoin nodes are money transmitters. And if they're money transmitters, you'd require a special license. And like we covered on yesterday's episode with the Tornado Cash sanctions and all that stuff, I was basically making the case that, look, like, if they're setting the precedent of sanctioning open source software because that open source software enables people to anonymize money transmission or anonymize their wealth, how long until they say, Bitcoin is a danger? It enables terrorism and enables money laundering, right? So
image with the stapler as well. Just want to throw that out.
So, I think this was really interesting, but I think this was very obvious. But again, like people, I think all of us on this, on this panel right now, like we're all very skeptical of the government, right? So this is interesting by that, right? Maybe this is a concession. Rustin, I know you have more info on this. What's your take?
Okay, so let's kind of go back to 2021. You guys remember the Infrastructure Act, and when Bitcoiners decided to learn how to call all their senators and representatives because there was that one clause about brokers. Well, this is what it's getting at, and the Treasury with the IRS introduced legislation Friday, and this goes back to the Infrastructure Act. The agency suggests defining digital asset brokers as trading platforms, digital asset payment processors, certain digital asset hosted wallet providers, so make sure you know that, and persons who regularly offer, redeem digital assets that were created or issued by that person. So it's really hitting on exchanges, and exempted from this, again, were node runners and miners. So this is a subtle win, subtle little victory here, but it's just the early stages. So many more things to be vigilant and aware of. We can see here the Treasury stated that the proposed changes aim to, quote, curb crypto tax evasion and prevent crypto investors and businesses from gaining an unfair advantage. The Biden administration has said there is as much as $18 billion left on the table from crypto investors through loopholes, whatever that means, and I don't even know how they come up with those numbers. But the rules, if passed, would go into effect in 2026. Okay, so that's for the tax year of 2025. So kind of some interesting developments coming out of the Treasury, and it looks like as of now that the Bitcoiners got what they wanted as far as the node runners and miners being exempted, and also it looks like open source software or self-custodied wallets would also be exempted so far. But that's what we have, and it's still early. It just came out today, so we'll continue to build on this. But what do you guys think?
Wait, just to clarify, sorry. This was to make node runners be needing a money transmitter license, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
Interesting. It's kind of, is what Nico's saying, is this them capitulating, or is this them understanding Bitcoin a little bit?
I don't know, dude.
I doubt
I
it.
think it's understanding how unenforceable that
Yeah.
was and how unrealistic and unattainable. Like, what are you going to do? I love Larry had talked about this a lot. Larry Lepard. What are you going to go through and all my $6
take it.
Lightning transactions. Good luck with that, man. You know,
So before I pass it on to Wine, because I love getting Wine's thoughts on these topics, I also want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors, Bitcoin Evangelism. It's a book written by Brian DeMint of the Orange Palap. The great Tatum turn up from between two ASICs once said Bitcoin evangelism is like the Bitcoin standard and Bitcoin dummies, and if they had a baby. Have you ever struggled to answer your skeptical no coiners friends' objections, or maybe you answered it perfectly, but they still didn't understand what you said? Bitcoin evangelism will equip you with an arsenal of simple illustrations to help articulate the tenets of Bitcoin to anyone. Bitcoin boomer? Check. Aunt Enda, who's worried about Bitcoin being the currency of the Antichrist? Check. Annoying dude from work that rubs it in your face anytime the price of Bitcoin goes down? Check. Bitcoin evangelism is an Amazon best seller. Scan the QR code, grab a copy today. Bitcoin evangelism, planting seeds for the decentralized revolution. Anyways, Wine, what's your take on these matters?
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really paying attention. I was taking notes here. I drew one of those cool S thingies that people do in high school, a little bee and a happy face. So I'm waiting for the meme review.
So,
Are we doing a meme review?
no, we're not doing a meme review, but guys, this is why Wine is here. Wine, why don't you tell them about our merch?
Well, guys, did you know that you could actually buy the merch with Bitcoin? Yes, we have BTC Pay server integrated into our e-commerce platform for the sovereign individuals that only buy Bitcoin stuff with
Don't you want a
Bitcoin.
bright orange Simply Bitcoin hoodie?
Don't you want to look like Opti and I?
So yes, this is what Wine does, and also memes.
but Wine, you can't buy stuff with Bitcoin. That's what somebody said, that they can't buy stuff with Bitcoin.
All right, I have a question though. If Bitcoin is digital gold, that means Litecoin is digital silver.
Take his mic off. Take his mic off. Continue.
Just kidding, guys.
You can buy
All right, moving on to the next big topic, and I think this one is an absolute massive one. Oman, which is a country in the Middle East, in the Arabian Peninsula, bolds Bitcoin play, $1.1 billion investment on Bitcoin mining infrastructure. And again, if you saw this in an isolated, if this was just one country doing this, so you'd say, okay, maybe this is noise, maybe this is an outlier. But not too long ago, you had the announcement from El Salvador of the Volcano Energy Initiative to use the geothermal energy coming from the volcanoes in El Salvador to power Bitcoin miners. You also had this very small country called Bhutan that has a tremendous amount of hydroelectric capability, and they also made a massive investment in Bitcoin mining infrastructure. People are starting to realize that excess energy that normally would have no value whatsoever, Bitcoin gives it value. So this is an absolutely big deal. This is an article from Forbes. We're going to cover it back. We're going to cover it in detail on Monday or Tuesday's episode when we get back from Texas. But I'm just going to read some of the specifics, and I want to get your guys' thoughts. And then, of course, whatever Wine says. Given Oman's conservative nature and its emphasis on Islamic law, introducing a concept as disruptive as Bitcoin mining required significant deliberation. But after rigorous regulatory discussions that started back in 2019, the government of Oman eventually found Bitcoin to be in line with Islamic law, accepting the modern innovation into Oman's deep-rooted traditions. No matter where you are, Bitcoin's incentives stay winning. That is absolutely insane and crazy. Russ, I'm going to start with you. What are your thoughts on this, brother?
Dude, I think that is awesome, and we're seeing so many things out of the Middle East. We saw Saudi Arabia is about to hop on with BRICS. We also have Saudi Aramco has also hinted at some Bitcoin mining and flare gas. You have like the flare gas mecca throughout the Middle East, so it only makes sense for these people to get involved with it, and the incentives are so strong. How can they deny it? I think it's amazing, and I think more people are going to hop onto this. You see El Salvador mining with geothermal energy, hydro all over the place. This is just incredible, and it's part of the process. And I want to see how far We continue to go. The hash rate is hitting record highs. We've got coins on exchanges at 6-month lows. Like, incredible things are happening in a macro landscape. So there's a difference between value and price, and I think we have a very bullish divergence here in a personal opinion. But yeah, guys, Bitcoin continues to win and continues to win over the people that really need it in third world countries and those who are just getting murdered by inflation and the dollar's weaponization.
100%. Opti, what's your take on this, brother?
Well, first and foremost, guys, you heard it here first. Bitcoin is halal, so this is good to hear. Shitcoins are haram. If you don't know, now you know. But no, seriously, guys, our buddy Mike Hobart, he hangs out with us on Spaces all the time, and he constantly doubles down on the idea of when the Middle East starts to embrace Bitcoin, considering they're such an oil-rich nation, it's going to really make waves. And what Rustin kind of pointed out as well, we've been seeing a lot of talk coming from the BRICS nations, and I think it's becoming very clear that we are in a multipolar world, or at least moving away from a unipolar world. And I mean, guys, if the Middle East countries start to embrace Bitcoin, if, like Rustin brought up, Saudi Arabia, they back off the petrodollar, and we start to see what petrosat, like, what is this going to do for the world? And not only that, but of course, for everyone out there, the price of Bitcoin. And so if we see more Middle Eastern companies start to embrace Bitcoin, considering they are extremely wealthy, guys, this is going to get absolutely nuclear in regards to the price right now. And I think this is something that we all should be watching, because we all know, say what you want about fossil fuels, but oil rules the world. And if they start to drop the dollar oil parity and they go on a Bitcoin standard, this could be absolutely insane. So it's going to be very interesting to watch the Middle Eastern countries start to embrace Bitcoin, especially if this trend does go into other countries and everyone else in the Middle East starts to embrace Bitcoin as halal. This is going to be epic.
100%. And I'm going to pass it on to Wine. Wine, do you think that they would like Simply Bitcoin merch in Oman?
Before I talk about the merch, I just want to actually give my feedback on the news, right? Oman, is that information crazy, huh? Yes. Opti's got the soundboard in tune. But yeah, I mean, it's time we get that oil money into Bitcoin, and that a big wave of it is coming. You see what they're throwing to Messi, Mbappe, all these guys, billions of dollars for soccer contracts. That's like the market cap of Bitcoin alone, pretty much, right? So,
And didn't they rug pull the PGA?
yeah, we're getting all of the Middle East on board. This is the real domino, right, guys?
I love that. And I'm also, like, in a way, I feel a little bit duped, because Wine never gives his intelligent opinion. Even though he's very intelligent. So yeah, thanks. I appreciate that, Wine.
I feel empowered in this T-shirt that people can get at simplybitcoin.com.
It's a beautiful shirt.
It's so soft.
See, so it was always a sales pitch from the beginning.
I feel like Satoshi's hugging me.
It was a sales pitch from the beginning. Anyways, guys, before we move on to the next piece of news, I want to give a shout out to the Bitcoin conference. It's going to be the largest Bitcoin conference on planet Earth, Bitcoin 2024. It's going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, July 25th through the 27th. You can use the promo code SIMPLY to get a nice discount to your tickets. For a GA, it's $349. For an industry pass, it's $849. And for a whale pass, can't remember off the top of my head, but it's about $4,500. You can use promo code SIMPLY to get 10% off your tickets. You definitely don't want to miss this Bitcoin celebration. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. I also want to give a shout out to our sponsor, the best place to build your Bitcoin stack by far, swanbitcoin.com. If you go to swanbitcoin.com/simply, you buy $100 worth of Bitcoin, they'll give you $10 worth of Bitcoin for free. They incentivize dollar cost averaging. They incentivize self-custody. It's being built by Bitcoiners. It's for Bitcoiners. The whole company, it's filled of passionate Bitcoiners that are on the mission to onboard the next 10 million Bitcoiners in America, the race to avoid the war. and to head into the bright orange future. So if you haven't already done so, visit swanbitcoin.com today and also check out their new products, Swan IRA. Build your legacy your way. Anyways, guys, let's move on to the next piece of news, which is really interesting. But first, I want to preface with this. So a lot of news coming with the BRICS nations, right? A lot of people are talking about the BRICS nations that, BRICS nations this. But what are the BRIC nations in the first place? I think it's important to give context before we talk about it. So the BRICS is a grouping of the world's economies of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The BRICS have a combined area of 15 million square miles and an estimated total population of 3.21 billion, or about 26% of the world's land surface and 41% of the global population. So they're absolutely massive. Their combined GDP is about $56 trillion. It's a lot of money. And they said they had a very interesting announcement. And this is a continuation of the trend, which is this trend that the U.S. government started. And the U.S. government started this for two reasons. They have been completely irresponsible with printing a ridiculous amount of money. And because the U.S. is the global reserve currency, every time they do that, they're devaluing all these other countries that are holding dollars on their balance sheet, right? So, countries are getting sick and tired of the U.S. having this privilege, right? This crazy privilege. So they're seeking an alternative. But I really believe, I think countries would be okay with that because of the dollar's relative stability to their national currencies. However, where I think the big incentive for countries like China and countries like Russia to seek an alternative is the weaponization of the dollar. We saw that as soon as Russia invaded Ukraine. They literally shut down they literally froze the assets of Russians worldwide. They tried to attack the central bank. So obviously you don't blame Russia for trying to seek an alternative. You don't blame China, who's also a major competitor with the United States, right? They want to surpass the United States by 2050 for seeking an alternative, right? So it all makes sense. So the headline of this article is BRICS set to abandon U.S. dollar for trade settlements, doors for crypto adoption open. Holy cow. So again, put this news together with what happened in Argentina with Javier Milei, potentially, and has a really good probability of winning the election later this year. An Austrian economist who hates central banking, big fan of Bitcoin. This is, I think it's like, what's that saying, that meme wine, right? With the dam and the little town below.
Gradually, then suddenly.
Bitcoin fixes this.
Gradually, then subtly. So anyways, I'm going to start with you, Wine. What are your thoughts on all this?
I think it's interesting to see the U.S. get a little bit of heat and tested. At the end of the day, when it comes to these political leaders making decisions that none of us have say in, I don't trust it whatsoever. And that's why I can hide in an asset that doesn't have to rely on any of these decisions being made in a global macro level. So just camp out in Bitcoin and hide in the woods, I guess.
I love that. And I'm surprised that didn't end in a shill for the shirt. So that's good.
I'm going to shill Bitcoin. Shout out to Bitcoin. Everyone buy some.
I like that. Wine's so different when he's on camera. Wine is a star in the making. He's a star in the making.
The shirts to keep you warm when you go off grid. So.
Oh, now Rustin is taking Wine's job. Jesus. All right. I'm going to pass it on to Opti. Opti, what's your take on this, brother?
Yeah, so it's very interesting, especially as Bitcoiners. We've obviously been following this trend for a while, and we talk about it constantly on the show here about how the powers that be have weaponized the dollar, and it really does feel like the pendulum is swinging not only the other way, but to a totally new course, because I feel that the powers that be have pushed a little too hard. And now we're seeing the dam break from not just Americans opting out, not just Americans tuning out, but foreign countries starting to look for alternatives. And we talk about this all the time on the show, that Bitcoin is the alternative. We are in the process of separation of money and state. And, hey, the world is on a dollar standard right now, and the dollar is the world reserve currency. And for, The last 100 years or so, maybe less, the world has been on the dollar standard, and now everyone is starting to wake up and be like, wait, is the dollar on the decline? Maybe we should be looking for something outside of the dollar, because everyone is holding melting ice cubes, as Sailor always says, and you do not want to be the last one holding the dollar. And it's Rustin, you can correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's Gresham's law. Those that hold the weaker currency get absolutely wrecked, and then they start to flow into a stronger currency. So we're in the process where the world is waking up to what the strongest currency is, and very obviously it's no longer the dollar, because there is an alternative, and it's called Bitcoin. And of course, that headline said, doors for crypto open up. We all know it's Bitcoin and not shitcoins. There's Bitcoin, and then there's every other crypto. So all roads end up in Bitcoin, and we're just in the process of people waking up to what is the best alternative, which obviously is Bitcoin. And you have the opportunity to be stacking Bitcoin right now. What's the price? 25K, 26K? Like, just hold on to those Bitcoins. Take Bitcoin into self-custody. Make sure you are staying solvent, staying humble, stacking sats, and taking your Bitcoin into cold storage and protecting yourself, and then go provide value, because the world is waking up to the Bitcoin message, and we're constantly seeing this happen in mainstream corporate press. We're starting to see this in foreign countries. Every country in the world is starting to wake up, and almost, I might be being too hyperbolic, but I feel like a lot of individuals are starting to ask the fundamental question of what is going on. Why am I feeling so much pain? And is there an alternative to this? And this is where we all come in, and we all spread that message, and we wake up our friends and our families, and they all become Bitcoiners eventually. So, hey, it's all good for Bitcoin.
Absolutely, it's all good for Bitcoin. Guys, you're listening to Simply Bitcoin backstage from the Bitblockboom 2023 conference. It's a special edition show. We do these sometimes at conferences. We did one from Pacific Bitcoin. I think we're going to be doing another one this year as well, and from Unconfiscatable. So I know it's a little bit of a change of setup, but if you guys are enjoying the show, it really helps the channel if you guys smash that like button. Consider subscribing if you feel like we provided you value. But the number one thing you could do to help the peaceful Bitcoin revolution, share Bitcoin content. In fact, right now you can literally tune in to the Bitblockboom 2023 live stream day one. It is literally happening in real time right now, so you can definitely check that out. But yeah, guys, anyways, Rustin, before I pass it on to you, I want to give a very quick shout out to Kaboom Racks, which is one of our sponsors. It's the best place to buy ASICs. They have this amazing marketplace. That's where you're going to find the best prices, the best deals. That's where you're going to build. That's where you're going to build your Bitcoin mining utopia. I also love their name. Opti and I are completely addicted at saying.
I've always wanted to do this. Kaboom Racks.
There we go. Right. So
You do a push-up every time. You got to do it.
you got to do.
You're gonna get swole. That's how Opti got so swole.
So, guys, if you're trying to get into the mining space, check out those guys. They're amazing. You got to scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you directly to the Kaboom Racks Telegram marketplace, and yeah, it's freaking awesome. So check out Kaboom Racks and do it right now. Anyways, Rustin, what's your take on this thing that we were talking about?
I really kind of nerd out on the brick stuff, and I did that one series, the currency wars and things like that. So I love this geopolitical gameplay and game theory going on with Bitcoin. But you read the bricks; those are like the godfathers of bricks. News now is Argentina, Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and UAE are to become members, and that will go into effect January 2024. So, I mean, what did they just do? They doubled in size right there. So the pace they're growing, and they had 40 people requesting to join. So there is a lot of high demand here, because the U.S. really showed their cards with the SWIFT system. It showed you how someone from their couch can shut off another nation's economy. It's ridiculous. It's dystopian. I mean, it's draconian. The fact that, money and speech and software and speech have been supported by court cases before. And this is why, because your money, if you're not able to use it, you are not a sovereign individual. You have no autonomy. You have no choice in what you buy, where you live, what you purchase, what you listen to, what you eat, things like that. It's all going to be fed through you and forced through a CBDC and these behavioral economics that they love. And these people that want to do this, well, they're the central planners that caused all the problems in the first place. So then the solution is to give them more control. Yeah, good luck with that shit. Bold strategy there, Cotton. I think I'll go with rules and not rulers. How about that?
Absolutely love that. All right, guys. Again, you're listening to the Simply Bitcoin Bitblockboom 2023 special. Guys, definitely tune into the stream. It's happening right now. You can find it on the Swan Bitcoin channel. You can find it on Bitblockboom. It's also live streaming on Twitter Spaces, on the Swan handle, and on the Bitblockboom handle. You could also find it on Swan's Twitter as well. The video is streaming there as well. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed the special edition of Simply Bitcoin Live, and I want to give a shout out to these Simplies.
We got to do meme review scores at least, right? No memes, but a score. We got to get some scores
Let's do
out
some
here.
scores. I don't know what we're scoring.
We got to get the music going.
Opti, do you got something? Do you got something for us?
Music. No, hold on. I do have something for you.
My score is this awesome orange hoodie that Opti's wearing.
All right,
There's only one place you could get it.
All right, guys.
Wow, that was just an elaborate way for Wine to show the merch one more time.
Shameless shills.
You guys want to know, but I think I found a meme. No, we better not.
Are there meme reviews in the
All right,
chat?
guys. We will catch you guys later. Like I said, tune into the BitBlockBoom score. Opti and I will be back either Monday or Tuesday whenever we get back to Florida. We love you all. Peace out, guys.
Later, guys.